Hello everyone, thank you for listening to His Dork Materials. I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you today about Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard about Anchor.fm, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Not only is it free, but the creation tools are included that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. What's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to His Dork Materials, the podcast about your favorite shows, plus Picard.
And anything else that you're watching on TV since you're all stuck at home in quarantine.
Like suckers.
Just like the rest of us.
Not like everyone that lives around here. They all decided that, you know what, quarantine's actually over now. It's not, folks. We're still in the middle of it.
We're still...
Go back inside.
Yeah, we're 3 weeks in with 4 weeks left to go.
Nice.
At least. Woo.
Good times.
Except for me.
Yeah.
But today we're here to talk about the new Amazon sci-fi series...
Tales from the Loop.
Tales from the Loop.
Tales from the Loop.
The Loop.
The Loop.
The Loop.
Tales from the Loop.
Loop. Loop.
From the Loop. Apparently, I just found out, looking at IMDb, that Jodie Foster directs an episode, so
Ooh.
I'm not sure which one. I'll have to go into each episode. So this is a kind of anthology, I think.
Yeah, so
bit.
When I had it described to me by the person who convinced me I needed to start a new show shortly after being very disappointed by another one, there's this thing that's happening in this town, and it's about a bunch of different people's reaction to that thing. And I said, all right, but if it's stupid like Picard, I'm not watching more than one episode.
And that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's understandable.
There were a lot more expletives in that description.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I said the F word a couple times in my sentence, actually.
Probably.
But this series is based on a book of paintings, drawings, art book of some kind.
It's an art book. I'm pretty sure they're paintings. I can look up that information while y'all bullshit about something.
So it's based on art, a book of art, and they write stories around each piece of art.
Or a couple, maybe. I don't know.
Or a couple pieces of art that go together.
I'm assuming from episode 1 that AT-AT, it was one of the paintings or one of the art pieces.
Yeah. But the lake was one.
Yeah, probably the 3 buildings that are just standing out in the middle of nowhere.
That's where the loop is.
I thought the loop was the
building in which
mushroom
they go
building that everyone goes to. Because those are two different
Are they two different things?
Yeah.
I want to say.
Oh, okay. I thought those were like part of that underground.
I don't think
They
so.
might be attached, but like there's the entrance and then those things.
Yeah.
Just like there's the lake with whatever the hell's sitting in the water. Very
like weird. It was like a weather vane made out of a bicycle.
Yeah.
I want to say.
And then there's 2 different robots just chilling.
Yeah.
Well, at the beginning, I think we are led to believe that it's the same one, but I think after the reveal.
Oh, there's like another robot later on too.
There is?
Yeah.
What does that one look like?
The blue one?
So there's the blue one, and there's another one that's like doing a task. I don't remember what it was.
Oh.
I missed that.
Yeah. But it's it's based on Tales from the Loop by Simon Stalenhag is the artist.
He's Norwegian? Swedish?
Would guess one of those based off of the little round thingy above the A in his name and just his name in general.
Also Greenland or Iceland.
I mean,
This is definitely set in a northern European
Question mark
country.
Set in a northern European set during the 80s question mark.
Yeah.
It's they say where it is. It's like set in Ohio.
Huh?
¿Qué pasó?
Like Jonathan Pryce says, like at the
¿Qué pasa?
beginning.
Does he?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, somebody look that shit up and you come back to me. Because it definitely gives off the not American vibe.
Yeah. Part of that is like the pacing of the episode. It's not explosions, people
America.
talking nonsense.
There's no Tiger King in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I am okay with at this point.
So the first episode was directed by Mark Romanek, who was famous for doing a lot of music videos in the early 90s. He also directed 1 Hour Photo. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, several other films. He directed the Beyonce Lemonade TV special. So everyone should love him for that.
Yes. Hardcore love him for that.
I haven't seen it, so I would not be able to say. Yeah, but he's a big music video guy, and he definitely gives this episode a not American broadcast
It's not, yeah.
way of shooting things.
Yeah. Like even like an American shot drama, this feels very BBC-esque versus anything that America usually shoots. And that includes Netflix, because Netflix at times can shoot things that don't feel very American-esque, but they still will fall into certain things, whereas this just feels all BBC.
Yeah.
Jonathan is still typing on his phone, still trying to figure it out.
Still doing his investigative work.
I'm working on it. Don't worry about it.
Give it here. I can find it really fast, I bet.
There we go.
Go.
Residents of Mercer, Ohio.
Interesting.
That's why Jonathan Pryce has an American accent.
You're an American accent.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
I was going to say, does he have an American accent?
There's a lot. There's a... See, that's the thing. That was the confusing thing, is that it looks... The way it's shot, the way the... everything looks, it's very Norwegian-esque.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives that...
Ohio, I guess you're Norway to us. So.
Yeah.
Ohio, Norway of North America.
North America.
Congratulations.
But also everything kind of looks Eastern European a little bit too,
Yeah, 'cause,
like the design.
Normally, Iowa, like I blah blah.
Ohio.
Yeah.
You think of like Cleveland or...
You think like Cleveland, and you think like rural America, like small town-esque, but like...
And this is very small town.
It is very small town, but it felt European small town versus American small town.
Like Soviet bloc.
Yeah, American small town feels...
Well, especially like considering the bar that Loretta goes into feels very like immigrant focused. Like it doesn't seem like it's just like a bar. It doesn't seem like, because
doesn't
they're
feel
playing
Midwestern.
Yeah, because they're like playing music that like I want to say they're playing like foreign music in there, and
Loretta listens only to Norwegian music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or as the subtitle said, singing in foreign.
Yeah, her
singing in foreign
mom
language.
singing. Yeah, like
Well, I mean, like
being named
obviously, like,
Alma.
yeah, she obviously immigrated from somewhere, but
it's just interesting.
yeah.
Ohio, we're not saying that you can't have this town in you. We're just saying we haven't seen the evidence before now.
Yeah.
Show us your proof.
Other than Russ saying that it takes place.
You know
there.
what? Don't come at me with these. I will say that, like, the beginning.
When does he say it? You're sure it's in the first?
Yeah, it's in the first, like the opening, like with the push in on his face.
Which I say is very disconcerting, which is why I probably missed that.
It's the one thing I did not like about this episode is they got way too close to his face.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's meant to give you a sense of unease.
Well, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I was very much... this feels... So what I can compare this to, and I haven't watched a lot of the show, like maybe 2 full episodes, maybe. Felt very Twilight Zone-y.
A little bit.
That part did, and then the beginning, it felt like I was like, this is gonna get Twilight-y. Twilight Zone-y, not Twilight.
Not Twilight.
No.
Twilight Zone-y.
It also does have, like, a very similar tone to, like, a lot of Scandinavian detective shows that I've watched.
It definitely, yeah, but I mean, okay, so Yes, it has that feel to it for sure. I'm not trying to take away from that at all. But it is set in Ohio.
Which is, that's fine, I guess.
That's fine.
Also, it's just, like, the artist is Norwegian, which is probably why I just assumed that it was going to be
set
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably why everything looks Norwegian, because it's taking from. Are they paintings? Did you discover?
I believe
digital.
so. Yes.
Yeah. Paintings of probably Norway.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think because I was reading
Jonathan,
about
are you
it.
just going to research this whole episode?
I'll be a research guy for this episode.
You just didn't do your research beforehand, apparently.
Well, why would we do that here?
Who does that?
Yeah, who doesn't? What a fucking idiot would do
You know
that.
what? We watched the show. That was enough research.
Yeah.
Right?
So I guess really quickly, while he's looking that up, I guess I can just briefly go over the plot, which there's
You know
not
what you should do though before you do that?
ton. I should definitely not introduce myself because
Oh, fuck me. 'cause
everybody
we're 10
knows
minutes
who we
into
are.
this.
Obviously, my name is Josh, and
I am the Commodore still?
No,
that's a Picard.
Absolutely,
Leave
and
that
you
in the
can't-
past.
no,
Yeah.
fuck that, because that every time you say that, I'm just gonna think of Picard, and then I'm gonna want to kick you with the shins.
That's fair. I am
Research guy.
the general or whatever you call yourself now. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm research guy,
No, but what's your name?
Jonathan.
And I'm the best bro, Heather.
And now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'll go over the plot real quick. This
Episode's plot. We should.
this
point
episode's
out.
plot is that Loretta is a girl that goes to school in a classroom that has like 8 kids in it, which must be nice. Must have been nice. Not one
Small
of those.
town America for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the question mark 50s.
Yeah.
I want to say yes, based
Because
on
based
other.
on the paper. Well, based on the paper she writes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at the paper quality and how it is typewriter typed onto that paper, that is not even in Ohio in the 80s. Like,
Oh, shots fired.
They were better than that.
Well, plus, like later on, we learn things, and there's also like certain types of technology there too that lead me to believe that this is also set in the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, like they're like the station wagon and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little girl, her mother steals something from somewhere. We don't learn till later, kind of the end of the episode, because she wants to do experiments on it. The conversation with her and what we learn is young Russ was
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was
not
gonna
great.
say that's young Russ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they used Jonathan Pryce's voice, but they just had a different actor standing in so that.
Okay, because I was definitely like, I'm pretty sure that's the same dude.
Yeah. Some of this dialogue here was kind of stilted because they're trying to give you a lot of information in a short period of time.
Without
Yeah.
giving you any information.
Yeah. And I was like, not loving this bit of dialogue here.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was very short.
Yeah. The only other thing that I didn't like is that Alma and Loretta have a conversation, and then in the next scene, they do the ghostly voices telling you the thing again. I was like, "Ooh, I hope this doesn't do this the whole time," because I can remember 30 seconds ago when they had this conversation. Fortunately, everything is shot very well, so you're like, I'll let it go for now.
Yeah, the show looks great.
Yeah, unfortunately, that kind of goes away pretty quickly. Hopefully, the show doesn't start looking kind of cheaper as it goes on, because I know some shows will do that, especially like Netflix shows. Like, it'll be like, oh, this kind of looks fine, and then as it goes on, it just like starts looking worse and worse until by the end, it's just like it looks like it's on a TV set, and you're just like, oh, I'm not into this anymore. The other show that this kind of reminds me of is another Netflix show, and by Netflix show, I mean it's a show that Netflix was like, hey, let us distribute this in the U.S., called Dark. I think it's German.
Is it the time travel one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but I've heard good things.
I saw the first season, and then it took them like 4 years to release the second season, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I have the mental capacity to remember and or rewatch the entire first season again.
Yeah.
But it's one of those ones where like it took them like more than 3 years to release the second season, so I was like, sorry guys. But I like the first season, and this kind of has like the same tone and has kind of shot the same similarly. Loretta's mother is doing experiments which you don't really learn much about, which I'm okay with because this isn't like a Star Trek show where you have to have all the little minutia about what's going on, or at least old school Star Trek. There's some kind of explosion question mark from the thing, and all the windows bust.
It's like it's not an explosion. I would equate it to
a power surge.
To an EMP.
Yeah.
Loretta runs outside and sleeps outside in the snow, I think.
Loretta runs outside earlier when she's running from her mom, but when that happens, she runs up to her bedroom.
But she wakes up outside in like the middle of the night.
No, she wakes up in her bedroom. She's just cold because her window's broken.
That makes sense. Then she leaves for school, and then when she gets back, or she goes and waits for her mom to get off work, and she's not there, and then she goes
home to find no house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have some questions about the time travel in this episode.
We're not there yet. So.
Well, just to kind of look, if you haven't seen it,
go see it
because if you have Amazon, otherwise this is going to get confusing because I don't want to be here just recapping everything for you guys.
It's not hard to recap from here because this is where it gets. There's not much, like, stuff happens, but not a lot happens. And basically, Loretta finds out her house is gone, so she goes and searches for her mom.
Yeah.
While searching for her mom, she runs into, I wanted to say Cole. His name is Cole.
Yeah.
Yes.
She runs into Cole. Cole is a young boy who's also living in the same town. Cole helps her go look for her mom by going to go talk to his mom. His mom won't talk to him right now, so they continue to go on adventures. They go check out a haunted house, which is a haunted shack in the middle of the woods and has snow falling up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was the scene where I was like, ooh, this is a show
I was gonna dig.
Yeah. There was like a couple of moments because at one point, because Loretta like puts her hand in it and then runs away, and then her and Cole are having a conversation and Cole's like standing in front of it. But the way they shot it, where he's in like in the bottom corner of the frame, and like you see like the snow, and then like that's 3/4 of the frame. I was like, is something gonna jump out and scare me? But this isn't one of those kinds of shows.
It isn't.
They didn't do it.
Loretta starts to get flashes of what might have happened as she's carrying a mysterious rock around with her, as she's trying to find her mom, because this rock decided is what Alma clearly has stolen.
Yeah.
This rock that has no gravitational. It's not being pulled by our gravity.
No.
It'll just float in midair if she puts it there. And so in their adventures to go figure out where her mom is, the adults around them start to notice that that's what these two are doing, mainly because they go and have a conversation with an adult. And in doing so, he then alerts Cole's mom, who has a very jarring reaction to finding out that a little girl is looking for her mom and that her mom's name is Alma.
Yeah.
Which is when I immediately went,
I figured it out.
I figured it out. I think I said I figured it out right before that happened.
It was
when she's on the phone with the security guard, who's played by Atto Essendo, who was in X-Men First Class, and then I think he's one of the later episodes is going to focus on that character.
Yeah.
Nice. So I was like, I figured it out. And you continue to watch as Cole's mom tries to race to find Cole and Loretta, to which she looks at her husband, played by
Paul Schneider.
Brandinowitz.
Also known as Paul Schneider.
Also known as his actual name.
Yeah. To say that the little girl is her. Find out that Loretta is the name of Cole's mom and that something freaking weird's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To which Cole's mom, Loretta, goes to find young Loretta and they have a conversation explaining what's happening.
Yeah.
Sort of.
So like the
well, and then yada yada yada. Loretta gets sent back to 19XX.
Yeah, they have a conversation about what's going to happen in her future, about how this happened, what happens to her mom, basically. And then she says, what's my favorite part of this is you're going to think this was a dream. Because she says that. She goes, I thought it really, she gets down in the snow where her old house was, puts her hand in the snow and goes, it really did happen. I thought it was a dream. And so she's telling her younger self, you're going to think that this didn't happen. You're going to think it was a dream. And then you're going to remember you're going to say these half-remembered words, which was really cool. She explains that you never figure out what happened to Alma. And sends her back
Yeah.
in time.
Yeah.
Somehow. Has a little cry, and then Russ comes and finds her and is like, hey. She's like, I want to talk about it tomorrow.
I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but older Loretta is played by Rebecca Hall. I'm just going to throw it out there right now. That's going to bump my score up a little bit, just automatically.
I don't know who she is. I mean, besides that she played something in this show.
She was in Iron Man 3, which is probably her worst movie and performance.
She was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She was the evil B word.
Oh.
But everything I've seen her in, no matter how terrible it is, she's always good. She's in a bunch of stuff.
Also, Iron Man 3 is great. Fucking fight me.
I will.
She's also British.
What?
I didn't say it was bad. I just said it wasn't great.
Agree to disagree.
I said what I said.
Do we need to go rewatch that movie? I'm a little concerned about your memory right now.
No, I know exactly which one I'm talking about. My name is Trevor Slattery. Fucking amazing.
Okay, so that's great. Yeah. Anyways, that's not what we're talking
Anyway.
about.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I mean, we could. We should do a podcast about Iron Man 3, though.
We should do all the Marvel
All the
movies.
MCU.
No.
MCU.
No.
MCU.
Okay, do you guys want to hate Marvel like you hate Star Wars right now?
Sure.
I'm willing. We're in quarantine, baby.
We're not going to get another Marvel movie till like November, I think.
Jesus. Yeah, probably.
Well, that's when Black Widow. They've bumped Black Widow to November. Everything Eternals is now February, and they've bumped them all back. So not until November do we get another Marvel movie. Only one Marvel movie in 2020.
You know what didn't get bumped, though, is Tales from the Loop.
No, it didn't. And this show's pretty rad.
Yeah.
So what's your questions about the time travel part?
When was she transported into the future?
When she when she put her hand in the snow at first.
Yep.
When she fell to her knees where her house was and she put her hand in the snow, and it was a weird it was like a weird jolt almost.
Because that's when she hears Cole throwing the rocks and she goes running
Yes.
to go find him.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's when
Also-
she goes back.
When she touches it right then, she sees a flash of, I'm pretty sure it's her future self.
Waving at her
Yeah.
in the snow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering, like, when it was happening, I was like, what was that? But then by the end, I had completely forgotten about that.
Yeah. So that's when that's why she started hearing Cole throwing rocks
Yeah.
at the same possible robot, which I find interesting and would like to explore later too.
I hope the robot comes back.
I hope they and by explore later, I mean like I hope the show explores that later.
Yeah.
That's possibly the same robot.
Because it was giving the side eye to little Cole. Because
Because
like, little fucker throwing rocks at me.
She sees it around her house and is like, "Fuck it," and runs away from it.
Yeah.
And then
he's throwing rocks.
at it, and Hirsch being like, "How would you feel? It's just a robot." And it side eyes Cole. It's like,
Yeah. Because like
Don't get you, bro.
for the first 10 minutes he's in this episode, Cole is like a giant asshole. And
Cole's
then slowly
not-
it
he's
warms up to him as
just
it goes
like,
along.
What? How old do you think they are in this? Like
9.
9? He's just so I'm gonna again defend the shitty kid in a show by being like, he's fucking 9. Like that's who they are. They're
Yeah.
kind of. I'm sorry, parents out there who think that you have wonderful, adorable angels. I live in the real world where I have a 4-year-old toddler, and I am very well aware of as he ages that he is gonna be equal parts adorable and fucking awful. Just like he is now,
Yeah.
where there are times where I can't love him more possibly, and there are times when I'm like, is it bedtime yet? Can
Yeah.
I not see your face for the next 12 hours? Great.
So, really quick. So I just wanted to talk about this. This was a crowd-funded project, actually.
Oh.
Wow. Must have been a big crowd.
The book, I mean.
Oh.
Oh, that makes more
Okay,
sense.
okay.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, man, that's an expensive show to crowdfund.
Right?
Seriously.
But it takes viewers on a surprising sci-fi journey through various country and city landscapes, from small towns in Sweden and the deserts of Nevada to the bitter chill of Siberia. I don't know if the show is going to do that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But it's basically just, I think looking at like his other art, I'm pretty sure like what I heard this one was, and I don't know if his other art books are like that, but it's basically taking the idea of like old like paintings of like farmers out in their field or whatever, and just like taking one thing that is just science fiction and just putting it in that painting, and then just making that thing that you're so used to seeing, and then just like turning it and twisting it a little bit and just being like, that doesn't belong there, but like, what if it did? And the loop is the cause of those things being there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I was a little worried at first. Like I said, like the dialogue wasn't that great between Russ and Alma at first. I was like, it's kind of like clunky and kind of hokey.
Yeah.
And then when they started doing like the ghostly flashback voiceover, I was like, ooh, this is kind of worrying. But by the end, I was like, no, this is actually pretty good. I had read a review that like the series as a whole was more than the sum of its parts. Like the episodes left you kind of cold, but like overall it was good. And so far I'm going to disagree with that.
I feel like since this is an anthology-esque, like there are going to be parts we really like and parts that we maybe don't like as much.
Yeah.
Just like other anthologies we've watched. So
Yeah,
I'm
hopefully-
interested to see. I also was very cautious going into this, mainly because
Picard.
Picard. Also, I had heard nothing of it until they were like, hey, we're going to watch this and then we're going to podcast it. And I was like, right fucking now, I want to watch Tiger King. Fine. And I was very grumpy about it. And I was just like, if this sucks, I'm not fucking doing it because I don't want to do another bad fucking show again. That's where my fucks were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to come out and say right now that I'm 2 for 2 on blind watching random things.
I was going to say, so I was turned around by the end of the episode. I was pretty happy with it, and I'm very interested to continue watching. And what were your 2 for 2?
What was the second thing?
Yeah.
Just taking us to go see Weathering with You.
Oh, that's right.
That
Okay.
neither of us knew anything about. We're just like, we're just going to go watch this movie.
Yeah,
And it was rad.
2020, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Check out our episode about Weathering with You over on the Moist Voice podcast, the beginning of March that we've resolved. So all 4 episodes are up right now. Good episodes, or good movies, mostly good episodes.
Passable
maybe.
episodes.
Episodes that exist.
Yeah. I read an article about this show, which definitely was my like, we need to watch this because
So you didn't go in blind.
not blind, but like, I mean, pushing you into something blind for sure.
Yeah. You do that more often than twice this year.
No, I'm just saying I'm 2 for 2 for that. This,
I'm 2 for the ones I'm counting. I'm 2 for 2.
yeah, and I'm retiring undefeated. So I kind of had a sense that this was going to be something that I think, even if we didn't do it for this, I was going to need just to be a palate cleanser after Picard. And I'm really glad that at least with episode 1, we got something that was much more like slower paced and methodical, and not so much of like, and here's the character who does bad accents, and here's the character who does 20
I don't
like
want to rehash
current,
that show. We're
like,
done rehashing
pop
that
culture
show.
references, and I'm just like, fucking stop, show.
A show that's incredibly slow, but also incredibly rushed somehow at the same time.
At the same time,
Guys,
yeah.
we're done.
Picard.
No.
And so I knew that we needed this palate cleanser, and I'm glad that it actually seems to be that so far. So.
Yeah. The thing that I'm glad that it did is that it had a twist where you find out that Rebecca Hall's playing older Loretta and that there was some time travel involved. But I like the reason that they didn't do it just to be like, ooh, here's a big twist. Gotcha, guys. Like they did it for a very specific reason, because Loretta and Cole's all of their interactions before you learn that wouldn't have been the same if you knew it the whole time, because you would have been thinking, oh, that's funny, or like, that's funny, or like, isn't that ironic that she's saying this to him?
Yeah.
Because we know that. But then like, so after you learn that, it goes from you're following younger Loretta the whole time to actually Rebecca Hall gets to be on screen for a little while, which I'm always going to be happy about. And Paul Schneider gets in there a little bit too, which makes me wonder if they're going to come back at some point, because he's
They
barely in it and she's kind of barely in it.
Yeah,
so hopefully...
they're neither one of them is really in it. But I think that they'll go back to Paul Schneider mainly because he has a cybernetic arm.
Yeah.
And it's not even, I wouldn't even say touched upon. It is driven past your window. And you're kind of like, wait. I wanted to, what was that?
That's one of the things that the article that I was reading was talking about, how you'll focus on characters in an episode, and then you'll meet these like kind of tertiary characters, but then like they will cycle in and then be the main characters in other episodes, and so you follow them through their thing. So I'm excited for that to where it's going to be. It is an anthology in the sense of there's not an overall narrative. It's small stories, it's small looks into the lives of these people, but it's all being within the same town and the same general group of people. I think that's going to be really interesting to see. So I'm hoping that he will come back and like be a bigger part of an episode at some point.
Mainly so we can yell, Brandonowitz!
But the conversation I really liked retroactively, because at the time it's just like, oh, this is just a thing we're talking about. Because this isn't really, and hopefully this kind of goes through the rest of the episodes, is that it's not about the sci-fi stuff that's all around it. Like this is very much, it's kind of just like about a family, really, because it's about Loretta, period. But like, it's about her.
So the theme of this show, what it feels like with this one episode, and again, we're only one episode in, and so I would really like if this continues to be the thing, is the theme is the human connection, the human emotion.
And not being blocked by technology.
Which
is a thing that I just like, I'm just tired. Like, yeah, we get it. Cell phones are driving us apart. Let's come up with something new.
Yeah. So I think it'll be really interesting, because I think that the show is very much going to follow along with what the art is then, of let's take an ordinary scene. Let's take this scene of this family and add a sci-fi element to it.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away from what this is. It just slightly changes it.
Right. And there are plenty of stories that are about people who, in trying to not become in this case, their mother, do become their mother, and having that realization be because of the sci-fi element of this show
is really cool.
Yeah. As opposed to just being like, oh man, I was looking through the art drawer of all the things that he drew me and realized I was a piece of shit. It's like, no, your past self actually has been talking to your kid
and was like, hey, that thing you just said about our mom is 100% what your kid just said about you.
Yeah.
And having her be like, oh,
fuck.
I gotta do better. And not even do better. Like, that was what I actually liked about it. It wasn't like I'm gonna change everything about who I am. It was it just started very easily with her being like, hey, my mom left me when I was your age, and I just want you to know that I'm not going anywhere, that I'm not leaving you. And so it's like, she's not promising that her entire behavior is going to change. She's not promising that, but it's very clear of being like, I'm just going to try communicating with my child.
Yeah.
And saying, I'm here for you. I got you.
I don't know what it was about, like, the last 10 minutes just like really got to me for some reason. Just like Loretta talking, like when she goes and visits her in the cabin and she's talking to they're talking to each other. I'm just like, I don't know if I've ever seen a time travel story where the characters interact like this.
Yeah.
Because it's not a confrontation. It's not like they have a goal that they have to do. It's just two characters. It's just two people that are just like.
It's like, I had to find you to be sure that you are me. Now what do we do with that?
Yeah. And like, they're she had to go find. I think it is that having the older Loretta remember it and being like, I know how that felt. Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel the same way now, because like, I'm guessing Russ isn't a great dad to have, just based on the fact that he didn't live with them when she was like when she was a kid.
Yeah. Well, Russ
is not her dad.
He's Paul Schneider's dad.
It's her father-in-law.
Oh, in-law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he said, what'd my dad say?
Oh, okay. But I'm guessing he raised her, though, because I'm assuming he's the one that shows up.
I think he's a mentor.
At the end. Yeah, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I have seen that. I'm trying to think. There's a movie, and this is going to be terrible, with Bruce Willis.
The Kid?
The Kid. Ugh. I know, it's not a great movie. It's not a great movie. But that's kind of what happens is there's no like end goal necessarily.
Yeah.
It's just them having a conversation about being like, hey. And the kid being like, I grew up to be a piece of shit, just so you're aware, and I don't like that.
Yeah. Which this doesn't go. What I appreciate, this doesn't go that far.
It doesn't even go that far.
Yeah.
And it's not even her being like, hey, your kid just said that about you, so clearly we suck. It's her just being like, huh.
And then like, I'm gonna admit it, I teared up a little bit with Cole and Loretta at the end because like. She's sitting in the dining room and he like gets up and walks in on her, and when she like tries to talk to him, he's like is scared of her, and I was like, ooh.
Did anybody else notice when the lights were off? It looked like
it was little girl her.
It was young Loretta sitting there, and then he turns on the light and it's older Loretta, and I was like, that was really cool.
That's rad.
That was really cool. I 100% loved that they did that they had him be afraid of her, because that 100% shows that she hasn't been that parent. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when parents are like, it's the big reveal of, I have to change everything about me. The kids are just like, oh, cool, mom's back. And it's like, no. Kids would be like,
who are you?
Yeah. Would very much be nervous of like, what's happening? Why am I in trouble? What did I do?
Yeah.
What happened? Especially with parents like that, where they'd be like, you're going to yell at me, aren't you? I didn't throw rocks at the robot, I swear. I agree. It was good. And then her just trying to hug him and him like awkwardly standing
being
there
like, what
first.
the fuck is that? What is this?
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm supposed to put my arms around you, Mom.
Yeah.
Good episode, I guess I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. This was a good start. So, question.
Uh-huh.
No.
This isn't an open loop, right?
What do you mean?
Are they going to keep doing this?
Loretta and Loretta?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because then the younger Loretta is going to grow up. She's going to meet
because she went
younger
back.
Loretta.
When she sat up, because she had her hand in the snow again.
Yeah.
That's her being back in the 19XX.
Yeah.
Right.
So she's now going to grow up thinking that this was a dream, that this didn't really happen. Her future part, she's going to try to continue to remember what happens. And then suddenly one day she's going to hear that a little girl is missing her mother, and she's going to remember everything. It's an open loop.
Well,
why would you think it's a closed loop? They gave you no.
I don't know.
There's no.
Because they don't really indicate either way.
I would say it's an open loop then.
Yeah, only because she remembers doing it. It's not like I haven't seen the kid, but I'm assuming Bruce Willis doesn't remember going to the future and meeting his older self.
Correct.
Or like,
and that's what closed loops are like, is that usually the first time when we see closed loops as audience members, usually it's the older version does not know that this is happening.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't happened before, or something drastically alters their timeline. So when the younger version goes back, they cannot repeat the same events.
Right.
And nothing drastic happens. Her mother's still gone. They still don't know why. You know, when she gets to the future, when she's in the future, Loretta still doesn't know what happened to her mom. She's not going to know. She's still going to try to continue to research to figure it out, but she doesn't know. She doesn't know what happened to her mom.
You're right. Her remembering being a kid and having that conversation with her future self
is that's what I said. My favorite line is her saying, "You're gonna think it was. You're gonna say these half-remembered words."
Yeah,
it's kind of like 12 Monkeys at the end when Bruce Willis sees himself when he's a kid chasing after. Oh, I can never remember this guy's name.
Madeline Stowe.
No, not he was in the Langoliers. He played Hack for a lot of years.
Yeah, he did.
David Morse. He remembers chasing after David Morse. So that's like an open loop, and you're not sure at the end of that if that's going to get closed at some point. Probably not.
Well, that's why they put in the ending scene that they did on the plane that the director fucking hates.
Did they?
Yeah. So you see David Morse get on the plane,
Yeah.
and the person that he sits next to is from the council that Bruce Willis got sent back by.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And she's like, "I'm in insurance." And that's they're closing it.
See, I never took it that way. I always took it as like they were trying to ensure that it happens still, or like that their mission wasn't to stop it, but that they knew that it was an open loop. So they're just continuing it.
I think the way that I've heard it explained is that they realized because of his character that like, oh, it's going to keep going. We should send somebody else back as
Insurance.
Yeah, basically.
Anyway, so there's nothing like that. There's nothing drastic that happens or changes or alters the timeline to ensure that it would be a closed loop. It's an open loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Clooney's?
Let's do Clooney's.
I'm going to give this 9 Clooney's. I liked it. Rebecca Hall is great. Paul Schneider was in it. The kids were actually really good. They weren't obnoxious. And
No. I really like the scene where Loretta gets like really frustrated and throws the magic rock, and Cole is kind of just like, and just like wanders off and gets it like floating in the air still. It's like you can't just throw this away. It's just kind of sit.
I also like the part where it's right before her and Cole talk about their parents, where he's like bugging her about something. He's like, "You're mad, aren't you?" She's like, "I'm not mad." Obviously she is.
Yeah. Her very kid-like reaction of, "I'm not mad."
Yeah.
Anybody else got Clooney's?
No, we're just gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna go 9 Clooney's on this one. This is good. I'm hoping that this is not like a show we've previously watched where we really liked the first episode and it's all fucking downhill from there. So I'm remaining optimistic and staying positive, and the rest of the show is going to be at least
a 7.
At least a 7. Because I realize like going into an anthology, you don't really have a lot of control over what you're given as an audience.
Yeah.
But if the tone stays consistent, at least not in like story beats or anything like that, but in the just general aesthetic and feel and actual tone of the show, then I think it's going to be overall positive.
Like the hardest thing with doing an anthology series is to very quickly get people invested in characters, and I think that's where this could go horribly wrong.
Yeah,
is that like you get
the wrong character,
like you could get an episode where it's just like really bad character, or like obnoxious characters that you just like, I don't want to see these people anymore.
Yeah,
which I think is where it could go wrong.
Yeah,
hopefully it doesn't. Heather.
So I want to remain optimistic, but I'm really cautious, and I'm really irritated that I'm cautious right now because I usually like shows, and I'm trying to be like, as much as I'm like, stop talking about old shows, I'm like, I don't know. So I'm going to give it an 8.5. The beginning was just a little too clunky for me.
That's fair.
To give it a full 9. But I'm going in this cautiously optimistic. And I think that, again, with an anthology, I'm really glad that we're going to Clooney it episode by episode, because I think that it will need to be that. But at the end, we should do the anthology as a whole, because, yeah. That's what I got. 8.5. Ta-da.
Cool. Thank you all for listening to the episode 1 of our podcast about Tales from the Loop. There was a hot minute where I was like, is His Dork Materials over until like something good comes along, because that last series that we don't talk about was pretty rough.
Yeah. Also, this is going to be a little bit out of the norm for us because this entire show already dropped.
Yeah.
But we're going to remain doing it week to week.
Yeah, we're going to try to watch an episode at least every half week.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Josh is making a face.
Well, I tentatively week to week.
Yeah.
We're going to release this week to week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Whether we watch it and record it week to week might not happen, but we're going to release it week to week.
I still want to do more Star Trek stuff to cleanse our palate and get some good Star Trek content out there, just to remind people that we do like Star Trek.
Because it does exist.
Like Voyage Home is real good.
Voyage Home exists. That's true.
I haven't seen it since I was like 8 years old, and I just remember being like, whales.
I'm just not a big fan of the Shat and his crew. So
I was going to say
Same.
Voyager exists.
Voyager has some good episodes we can talk about. TNG has good stuff we can talk about. I have not seen hardly anything of
I don't want to watch
Deep Space
I was
Nine.
going to say I don't want to watch Deep Space Nine.
I never got
Nah.
into it, and I feel like it's because I tried to get into it too young.
Same.
Because like Deep
Also,
Space Nine
I
was
can't
not a
see
kids
his-
show.
I can't see his face and believe for half a second that he was a captain in Star Trek in Starfleet.
Who?
The black guy?
No, the main dude from Deep Space Nine.
The black guy?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something wrong.
You're thinking of Scott Bakula in Enterprise.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
no,
you are.
Scott Bakula does not belong in Star Trek things.
Folks,
Glad we felt that one out.
glad that we resolved that and it didn't just
I
let
like
it
that
hang.
you
Yeah.
just assumed because he was. That's not
No, I wasn't just assuming that. I was just letting you like back yourself out of that corner by me being like, "Hey, the captain of Deep Space Nine is a black guy."
apparently I need to re-go watch. I remember not liking Deep Space Nine, but I was also 10 when I
Yeah.
tried to watch Deep
Right?
Space
Like
Nine.
I just
fair.
remember it feeling very soap opera-y.
Yeah, I remember I loved TNG and I loved Voyager at that age. Maybe
Yeah.
I was a little older. I think I was like 11. No, I was 10.
I was the perfect age for Voyager when that came out. And I'm realized like the more I think about it, I was definitely too young for TNG to like actually understand what the show was, because like there were episodes we were during our like time of watching Voyager, we would like watch reruns of TNG, and I remember like in one of the episodes me just being like, Earth is just right there. Like these guys aren't lost. What the fuck is going on in this show? And just then like you and our mom just being like, that's the plot of Voyager. And only Voyager. Not all Star Trek is about ships being lost. And I was kind of like,
You were like, but it should be.
Oh.
They should all be lost.
yeah.
I'm gonna make an executive decision and just say right now, if we can get to $205 a month or more patrons, we'll start doing the Star Trek shows, doing episodes about those. We'll start a Star Trek podcast. I'd be up for that.
That is fucking dense. That is a time commitment right there.
That's, okay.
I would say start with the ones we haven't seen. So I would say like do Deep Space Nine,
No.
do Enterprise.
I'm skipping that fucking theme song though.
Yeah, every time.
No.
Apparently Enterprise is
hate
actually
things?
a good show.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. No. No. I'm never going to like it. I can't. Scott Bakula does not belong in Star Trek.
That's fair.
There's a hot lesbian alien though.
Oh,
They got the hot Vulcan that always had her clothes off.
Yeah.
Because it was the early 2000s. And that was like,
Yeah.
what do? Take her top off.
Big
okay,
oof.
I might like parts of it. I'm just going to fast forward through Scott Bakula. Actually, I'm just going to be like, oh, look, my phone's really interesting while he talks.
Maybe we'll hire someone to come co-host that with us. We'll find some more hosts. But
Rude.
if you go to patreon.com/moistboyspodcast, sign up, get your friends to sign up, because
So you can kick Heather off the podcast for Star Trek.
we'll have plenty of other shows by then. Thank you for listening to His Dork Materials. Come back next week when we'll talk about the next episode. You've probably already seen it if you are watching it. If you are not watching it, you probably haven't seen it. And
Maybe go watch it.
yeah, go
Go give
watch
it a try.
Do this ride with us.
Get some, steal your Prime password from one of your friends. Somebody has Prime.
Somebody's got it.
Somebody, yeah.
And we will be back next week.